And a pleasant Saturday to you. Welcome to a 12-race card here at Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie. I'm Jim Byers alongside Rodney Nelson. You can catch him on X at Railbird Rodney. And we are here to take a look at 12 races today, Rodney, as we wrap up what's been an interesting week of racing. We wound up toward the back end of the card yesterday, getting some favorites home. Thursday was the other way around. The favorites were all front-loaded on the inside. We'll see what happens here tonight. Next week, Friday trials for the Texas Classic Futurity. Saturday trials for both the Purina Feeds Texas Classic Oaks and the Texas Classic Derby. Those will be great. 12 races both on Friday and Saturday of next week. Let's get on to the action right here. I think this is a tough first race. You and I both end up with the one horse here in this 870-yard test, but it's a little bit of a tough one for me to get my arms around. $7,500 non-winners of two. A lot of veterans who've been stuck on that one win for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. I thought a lot of these races tonight were tough. But this first one going 870 yards, I went with the horse on the inside. As JLC, Big Boy is back. This horse was a winner last time out, did it at this 870-yard distance, has gone 870 three different times, has a win and a second. That win and the second were the two most recent races, so the horse has figured out how to make that left turn and has shown some promise going this distance, so I'm going to go ahead and take the one here. Number 3, Dance Hall Dan, is going to be my second choice. This horse has a win and a second at the distance as well. Has a win out here at Lone Star Park. Most recent race was in for the $10,000 tag. Ran second in that one. That was at 870 yards. Comment there says trip, too. So I didn't watch the race, but I would imagine tripping is not a good thing.
Yeah, it was I think that's another way to say stumbled. I saw it as a stumbling start, and definitely, wasn't the best way to begin, but was able to overcome it.
Yeah, and Dance Hall Dan, he's been out here at Lone Star Park 7 different times. Has hit the board in 4 of those 7. So, a pretty good statistic there. And then I got number 6, Mahomie, as my third choice. I mean, this horse was a third-place finisher last time, beaten by a length and a half. Has a ton of experience at 870 yards. 8 different tries at the distance, has hit the board in half of them.
Yeah, I'm the same, on the top 2 here. I mean, Dance Hall Dan comes out of a $10,000 non-2 claimer where he ran second, whereas our top pick comes out of a maiden claimer, but the top pick draws the rail once again, which he liked last time. That was back in August, so he's been off for a while, more than 2 months, but he's had to work, 220 work. I'd rather see a 330 work before an 870 race, but still, a 220 work should put some speed into him, and they're going to have to come and catch him, I would think. Handsome Devon is a little bit interesting to me. Arnold Lewis, the trainer, does well with 870s. He claimed this horse last time out, and maybe he can move him up. We'll see. On to the second. Texas-bred 2-year-old fillies. These have a maiden win, but nothing else. They're non-winners of 2, going 300. Oh, I don't think I mentioned in that first race, stepping back to the first for a moment, that number 5, the Special Corona, scratched, and number 8, Airlights, the also eligible, scratched from the first. So on to the second, Texas-bred juvenile fillies, no changes, no major changes.
Yeah, I took number 6, Perry Bogart. I think this is the horse to beat here. All 4 races for this filly's finished on the board. They had a third place back in the Firecracker Futurity 2 starts back. It was at Delta Downs, a grade 2 event. Only lost that one by 3/4 of a length. Next out winner won it. Last time out, in a trial for the Dash for Cash Futurity, ran a decent second in that one. Not bad at all, just missing by half a length. I think Perry Bogart, they're going to be all chasing and trying to catch this horse in this race. Fabulous Casino, the 2, that's my second choice. Comes in here fresh off a win. I love horses that come in off a win. Won that race last time by a length and a half. That was only a 250-yard race, so a pretty good margin of victory there. We'll see if this horse is fast enough to get up there once again. And then I got number 1, Be Right Back, as my third choice. Another one that comes in here fresh off a win. Was claimed out of that race to go to the new barn this time. John Bogner, he sends out a lot of good horses. So we'll see what happens when it's all said and done. I got it 6-2-1 in race 2.
The E-Speed figure in the program for Be Right Back for that last race on the 12th of September is off the charts.
Yeah, pop. So, who knows?
86. That's what really good borderline stakes horses would be doing. I don't know if he can duplicate that. That was obviously a fast race. He ran very well. But nonetheless, I'm on Perry Bogart's bandwagon, too. To me, she was an obvious pick. 4 good races. Her trial, as you mentioned, was very good late in the day, and she was in the very last trial that night. The time slowed up considerably because of the wind. She ran into a 10-mile-an-hour headwind that they didn't have earlier in the day. So that Respect, who won that race, might have qualified if that trial had been earlier in the day. So for me, she's a very solid selection. And you have some recent maiden winners. Fabulous Casina, Be Right Back, Blasted Eagle, who's my second pick, all come out of last out maiden wins. Race 3, back around the hook at 870. No scratches out of this one. These are non-winners of 3, or you could be in for $20,000 in claiming price.
So I went with the 6. I Will Decide here in this spot. I mean, this is a horse that's run in quite a few stakes races. Last year picked up the win in a couple stakes races at 870 yards. This year stakes placed at the distance back in Sam Houston. A lot of experience, 10 races at 870, has won 4 of those races, hit the board in another 2. Has a couple wins out here at Lone Star Park. I mean, this horse has been running against some good ones. So I'll take I Will Decide on top here. Number 4, Flash to the Moon. That's going to be my second choice. Fresh off a win last time out at this 870 distance. Has 3 tries at going around the hook. Has that win that I talked about, and a third-place finish as well. There was another time you see that this horse crossed the finish line. That was 3 starts back in front of all the rest at this distance, but that was that being placed third in that race.
Yeah, I'm not knocking the Ruidoso stewards. I've never spent a day in the steward stand, but I didn't really think that was I thought that was a ticky-tack call the time that they disqualified him. I mean, he crossed over, but, I mean, come on. I thought that was a little ticky-tack. But I did pick Flash to Moon last time, and I got a 6-1 winner out of him, and yet I'm picking him second here today because, you know, I think his 870 form is pretty good. And he has had some excuses, but I'm going to go for a little long shot, but I'll let you finish talking first.
Yeah, Flash to the Moon second, just like you have, and then I got number 1. You said you're going for a long shot, Crypto.
I'm going with Crypto.
That's your top choice here.
You know, he faced the Grand Legend, who was an AQHA champion last year, and I believe he won our Grade 1 Cox Ranch Distance Championship last year when we held the
we've seen the Grand
Legend
win out.
The Grand Legend was locally based for a while. He ran, 10 lengths behind him last time, but some of his other races in more mortal company have been pretty solid. He likes the distance. He's 2 for 5 at it. Has a recent work, relatively recent, going 660. I just think the rail, the fact that Youngers has only had him for his last 2 starts and got a nice win out of him, he seems to have helped him. So I'm going to try with Crypto on the inside because I'm afraid that Flash to Moon's race last time might have been a little fluky. I mean, it was just such a good race. And, I Will Decide. I have a lot of respect for his having, been a multiple stakes winner last year. It's a good race. We didn't even mention Gladiator, who's the 5-2 second choice on the line and comes out of a win over this racetrack. So that's a good race. Race 4, 220 yards, maiden claimers. These are 3 to 5-year-olds. Take out both the also eligibles, the 11 and 12.
So I'm taking a 3-year-old here that has a lot of experience. That's number 5, RB Little Speedy, 1-1 on the morning line. Last time out, this horse ran for a nickel, ran second in that race, missed by a head. Had some fairly close-up finishes all through there. And the reason I took this horse is basically looking through all the other ones. Seem to be the best in the race. I can't say any of these horses in this race really got me excited. I mean, it is a maiden claiming race for $5,000, right. So
we don't run them any lower than that.
Yeah, you're not getting the USDA prime here. But Princess Cadena, that's going to be my second choice. This horse comes out of a maiden race last time out. In before that, this horse was in for the $10,000 tag. Had a decent run at Sam Houston, in for $10,000. And then I got number 9, Obi, second-time starter. I'm always looking for those horses that improve from start 1 to start 2. Last time out, you look at the comments, hit the gate. That's never a good thing. So hopefully he breaks out of the gate nice tonight, and we'll see if Obi has any kind of run for this 5-year-old gelding in his second career start.
I think RB Little Speedy might be vulnerable here. He's 0 for 11. He's only been able to muster 3 in the money finishes. And he did start in maiden special weight races last year, but he's been running for a nickel for a while now and hasn't been able to get the job done. So I'm going to try Princess Cadena, the 6. Lowest level she's ever run at. She's a lightly raced 5-year-old mare, only been to the post 7 times, has had numerous trainers. It seems like almost every time she runs, she has a different trainer. Now she's with Juan Johnny Hernandez. Some of the horses that this filly or mare faced, Diamond-backed, won on opening night in a non-winners of 2 allowance here, so came right out of that last race against Princess Cadena and won. Texas Teller won a $5,000 claiming race here on October 3rd. That's the horse that beat Princess Cadena the race before. So, again, she's not facing world beaters, but they're at least been in good form. So I'm going to try her to upset RB Little Speedy. And then Mighty Gun coming off a long layoff of over a year for a very high percentage barn. Arturo Juarez Flores, 5 for 12 in the early going, and has had, one start with last year with slammed at the start, and then the second start just didn't do anything. Now has had 14 months off. Race 5. By the way, that 4th race begins the early pick 4 tonight. Race 5. $15,000 claimer for 2-year-old, non-winners of 2. They're going $330.
Yeah, so I took number 2, Vivo, here for Juan Diaz Jr. Nestor Duran gets named to ride today. Last time out, this horse was an 8th place finisher to non-winners of 2 allowance race. Was beaten by 2 in that one. But if you look before that, this horse had a couple trials, back-to-back futurity trials, one at Sam Houston, one at Retama. Ran second in both of those. Broke his maiden the race before those 2 trials. So there was a time earlier in the year where this horse was rolling. So I'm going to take that last race and just say, it's kind of an anomaly. It was in the non-winners of 2 allowance. The horse is back down for a tag today. Actually, the first time this horse has ever been in for a tag. So I'll give the nod to Vivo here in race 5. I got number 4, Laney Boy, as my second choice. Now, this is going to be a key horse because some of them later on tonight ran against Laney Boy, and Laney Boy was the one that beat him in that last race. So I'd really like to see a strong performance from Laney Boy today. Was a winner last time out, was close up in the 2 races before that, missed by a half and a neck. So I think that this horse can run. And then I got number 1, BV, My Darling Eagle, as my third choice. Last time out wasn't the best. It says antsy at the gate, lunged. But was a winner.
Lost all chance, in my opinion, at the start last time.
But was a winner before that. So, had one good race, maybe stepped back in it. Something distracted the horse, obviously. Tried to go a different way. Who knows? But I think this horse could fire once again tonight. I got it 2, 4, and 1.
You said the key words that I wrote on my PPs regarding the 1. One good race. I mean, that's really what this filly has done. Her one good race was a high-priced maiden claimer at Remington. It was very good. It was a driving finish. She got the win. But, boy, she was out slowly and last time out, and she's had a little bit of start issues in the past. So I'm going with Vivo as well. I think this is kind of a safe pick, first time for a tag, as you mentioned. Really walked out of the gate last time. Unfortunately, Juan Diaz's barn opening weekend in the first couple weeks had an issue with some slow breakers. Hopefully, this horse can get over that. So I really like the way Laney Boy finished last time. He really had a good kick. I mean, he won technically wire to wire, but he finished really strong. On to the 6th. I think the favorite's vulnerable in here, but I picked him anyway, Chewy Waters. He towers on numbers, but I don't know. I went ahead and picked him. $350, 2-year-old, $7,500 claimers. Note 3 scratches. Number 2, Tap Cardinal. 6, Traviesa. And the 11, Lone Star Fire. The 12 gets in.
Yeah, I thought Chewy Waters might have a chance to get beat in this race as well, like you mentioned, but then I looked at the other horses. I mean, not really a bunch of impressive races from the rest of the field here. As a matter of fact, there's only 2 horses in this entire field that went off under 10-1 in their last race. That was Chewy Waters. So I took the horse on top. Didn't do too hot in that last race. I mean, finished 6th, but the two of the other races before it, I mean, this horse was close up, missed by a neck and by a half in 2 third-place finishes at Retama this year. And then the other one that went off under 10-1 is going to be my second choice. That's number 10, Bogart Star. 15-1 on the morning line, I mean, before these scratches, right? But Bogart Star, I mean, this horse last time out was claimed, so goes to a new barn. All right, it's changed things up a little bit. But missed by a length, and that last one was in for a nickel. You look at the ones before that, I mean, 2 races, this horse was close up within a length of the winner in those 2 races. So the horse has shown some promise in those races, albeit a little bit lower level. $7,500 tonight, just to split the difference between the 10 and the 5. This horse had some decent races, so go ahead and give me this 10 as my second choice. And then I took the 8, Big Brown 509 as my third selection here. Taking the class drop, was in for $20,000 last time, $7,500 today. Was in a futurity trial before that. So let's see what happens with the 8. But I got it 4, 10, and 8.
Yeah, beyond Chewy Waters, you're kind of grasping a little bit. Chewy, drops in class somewhat. I mean, he dropped technically during the summer at Retamo, but now he drops even more. My Royal Player is kind of intriguing for me. I mean, he was massive odds in his first 3 starts, but, they were in races where he couldn't compete. So now he's where he belongs for that high percentage Arturo Flores barn. And I took Aries War Wagon on the inside, blinkers off. There was a blinkers off horse last night that Rosie's Rosie for Steinbo that ran pretty well. So, I mean, there are some horses you can use underneath that favorite in there. That there's a wide array of them. That none of them have great form. But on to the 7th. That starts the pick 6, 300 yards. These are Texas-bred 2-year-old fillies in for $10,000.
Yeah, so I'm on the horse on the outside, number 10, Wanda Jean. I mentioned earlier, a lot of it depends on how Laney Boy runs. Laney Boy was the winner of the last race that Wanda Jean was in. Wanda Jean finished 4th in that race, about 3/4 beaten. But before that, was beaten by half a length in a 3rd-place finish. You go back before that. I mean, this horse had some close-up races in defeat. Wanda Jean coming from the outside. Go ahead and give me this horse on top here. I got the 8, One Famous Katrina as my second choice. Was a 4th-place finisher last time out in the maiden race. A 3rd before that. It comes in here for the tag for the first time. We'll see what happens with the 8. And then I got number 2, Jet Black Pelota as my third choice. This is a horse I think I picked on top in the debut race. Ended up running 8th in that one. Didn't have the best break. Basically got out of there up in the air. But I'll wheel this horse back and see what happens in her second career start. Hopefully she figured out coming out of the gate last time and is ready to run straight down the racetrack tonight.
Yeah, she's going to need to get out a lot better than she did last time. Jet Black Pelota took a lot of money last time. She was like 15 to 1 on the line, which maybe for a Juan Diaz horse, I mean, Rick rarely misses a line, but maybe that line was a little high on her.
It was payday, and I went to the window, so
that could be too. Yeah, she got hammered pretty good at the windows, and then absolutely broke terrible and didn't run well either. So I've got her 3rd. I mean, I think she could really improve. I took Dash and Dutton, number 5, on top. I think she comes out of the best last race, at least visually. It was a $10,000 maiden claimer against Texas bred, same level as this. She had the rail. She gets off the rail today. She broke okay, not great. Bore in a little bit, but that was a blanket finish, and there were like 4 of them within a neck, and she finished 2nd by a head. So I'm going to give her a shot to wheel right back. On to the 8th. Start of the pick 5. $25,000 maiden claimer for 2-year-olds. Scratch number 8, Buchanan 747. And scratch the 12, Mr. Mateo.
I went with number 5 in Phaedra. This last 3 races, this horse was in futurity trials out west. One of them, it looks like the Rainbow, the horse ran all right, finished 3rd in that race. The most recent one wasn't the best, bumped at the start. Same thing with the first one out there in Ruidoso, stumbled badly at the start is what it says. So
with the Triple Crown winner in there, you better not stumble.
Let's toss those 2 out.
It's interesting, though, that this Phaedra was favored over He's Got the Look Z in that Ruidoso trial.
Yeah, and who was laughing after the race?
It's probably He's Got the Look Z's first career start. But, yeah, he's now a Triple Crown winner. But still, you don't want to stumble if you're facing him.
No, not at all.
That's the moral of that.
But, 2 of the 4 races, all right for Fedra.
I think I'm going to say Fedra. I think it's easier to say.
Sounds good to me. But two out of the 4 races weren't bad, so I'm going to go ahead and take this horse. Number 10, Tempting Guy. That's going to be my second choice. 7 career races for Tempting Guy. Last time out, just lost by a neck in that race. So, I mean, Tony Cedillo, he sends out some horses that can win, no doubt about it. This might be one that you can catch at a price coming here off that last race. And then number 2 is going to be my third choice. That's Waiting on the Dock. It was a second-place finisher 2 starts back at the Gillespie County Fairgrounds. We'll see if this horse can't put together a nice race tonight.
Yeah, I'm on Fedra's bandwagon as well. Has a recent work and a pretty good one. Held her end up reasonably well in most of those trials. She was in pretty deep in some of those $1 million trials. So I'm going to go with her over Relentless Avery, James J. Gonzalez III. This horse has shown really good speed in both starts, faded both times, but, might be starting to pick it up a little bit. So I went ahead and took Relentless Avery second. On to the 9th. Start of the late pick 4, scratch number 11, El Conejo, the also eligible out of here. 330 yards, 2-year-old non-winners of 2 for $25,000.
Number 6, Loving That Eagle, going to be my top choice. Was a winner last time out by a head. Just got beat by a head in the TQHA Sales Juvenile the race before that. Second place finisher in the trial. Give me Loving That Eagle on top. Number 5, BV Chick Magnet, 15 to 1 on the morning line. My second choice, your second choice as well. This horse was a stakes runner 2 starts back.
Yeah.
Broke its maiden the race before that at Remington Park. Had a fairly decent meet up there, I would say. Hasn't been on the track since May. But did have a workout out here on the 7th of September. We'll see if this one's ready to go. Pretty much 6-5 is how I see the 9th.
Yeah, I mean, not only does the 5 come from a barn that's cooled off a little bit, Eddie Lee Willis, but still, his barn's been very hot this meet, and his horses have really come in firing. And also, this horse gets the suck-along effect of being next to the favorite, who to me was an obvious pick. He's very quick, Loving That Eagle. He's acquitted himself quite well, maybe not so much in his first 2 races where he had some running straight issues, but since he's kind of found what it's all about, and so I think BV Chick Magnet is definitely one to keep an eye on. Even his last race in May, before he went to the sidelines, there were 3 next out winners ahead of him in that race. He ran 4th. So that was a good allowance event. La Pepper King comes off a nice win at the racetrack, over this track, I should say, and wasn't fully extended by the rider in that race either. So that's an interesting one to look at. On to the 10th. On allowance, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 lifetime. They're going the short 250-yard distance. Scratch the 2 also eligibles.
I went with SC Jesse D. That's the 4-horse coming in here straight off that maiden win. Won that race last time by half a length. That was at 300 yards. This horse seems to get out of the gate very, very well. Pretty much every time except for one, you see that this horse has gotten out the gate fairly well. So go ahead and give me SC Jesse D in this short race. I got number 8, Wicked Reward as my second place finisher. Well, it was in that starter optional claiming last time, missed by 3/4. I mean, it was only a 110-yard race. But if you look before that, I mean, this horse had a win by a length and a quarter. That was that maiden breaking win back in June at Retama Park. Followed that back up, just missing by half a length and a non-winners of 2 allowance. I think Wicked Reward could run well. I got a 4-8 here in race 10.
Yeah, SC Jesse D, about the best breeding you're going to see anywhere. By Apolitical Jess, a champion from Spit Curl Diva, who was also a champion. Spit Curl Diva, this was an interesting note I discovered in reading about her. At one time, owned 3 different track records at Remington, 3 different distances. Wow. She had the fastest time in of all time. Trained for a while by David Brown, who was a former jockey who was injured, so he took over training her. Then later he got better and he started riding her. He didn't train her and ride her at the same time, but David Brown both trained her and rode her. But nonetheless, this SC Jesse D, I mean, she's no Spit Curl Diva, but her last win, she came back firing off a layoff. Another one I'd keep an eye on is another Eddie Willis horse, Eddie Lee Willis, Revenant Babe on the outside. The outside was pretty good last night. You might keep an eye on some of those outside horses. This horse, in the very poetic words of JR, the chart caller, got mugged at the break.
Mugged at the break.
It's hard to run your best when you get mugged. But prior to that, though, Revenant Babe had run some nice races in Oklahoma. Race 11. Maiden special weight 2-year-olds at 3:30. Scratch the 11 and 12.
Yeah, so I'm on the 3, JJ Apolitical Snow. This horse had some close-up races earlier in the year, Delta Downs, Retama Park. Spent the last 2 races at the fairgrounds, ran a solid 3rd in Futurity Trial, 2 back. Last time out was a 4th-place finisher. If you look, it says Fractious at the gate, just missed for 3rd. So I'm going to take JJ Apolitical Snow here. I think this horse could run well. Number 4, Sir Barcelona. It's going to be my second choice. This horse was right up there toward the front the whole way down the racetrack in that last race at Retama Park. Ended up missing by a neck in that race. The second-place finisher was a next-out winner. Horse has been off the track since April the 11th. Did have a workout here on September the 13th. We'll see if Sir Barcelona is ready to go. And then I got Political Cash Candy, the 5, as my third choice here. This horse has hit the board in 2 of 3 races. Hadn't had that win yet, but who knows? This could be the time. I think this one is kind of a little question mark here, depending on if he's ready to go. I think this horse could win it if she's ready to go, but I got it 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Why not make it easy to count? I got a 4th pick in this one. 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I went with Sir Barcelona. The second dam, the grandmother of this horse, Dashing Folly, was a world champion in 1996. Won a dozen races, was a multiple Grade 1 winner. Now, Wichita Cartel, the dam of Sir Barcelona, didn't amount to much, but there's good breeding there. And the one race for this horse back in the spring was pretty solid in a Remington Futurity Trial. So I'm going to take Sir Barcelona in start number 2 off the layoff for Clinton Crawford over Steady Heart and a few others. On to the 12th and final. Jackpot Super High 5 carryover of $17,436. That's really been building. 3 to 5-year-old maidens here, 250 yards, and scratch the 2 also eligible.
Yeah, I took the rail horse Thrilla. This horse was a close-up, almost a winner last time out at Albuquerque. Missed by a neck in that race. That goes to show you how I always talk about that angle. Race 1 to race 2. This one made a big improvement from race 1 to race 2. We'll see if the third time's not the charm for Thrilla, but I got this horse on top. Love Dynasty, the 4 is going to be my second choice. Missed by a head 2 starts back. Was a third-place finisher last time out right here on this racetrack. And then I got number 10 to wrap it up, CM Nova. It's a horse that's been close up in the last 2 races. We'll see what happens, but I got it 1-4-10 in the nightcap.
Yeah, I like the fact, I'm on Thrilla as well. I like the fact that he ran well at Albuquerque from the rail, meaning he didn't seem to mind just the situation of being down on the inside and whatnot. Not everybody wants to be down in there. He's on the rail again. He does come off a nice race. One other one I'd like to talk about, I have Love Dynasty second as well, but Anastasia, I'll have to make sure I'm getting all the syllables in there, the 2-horse, is a first-time starting filly by Favorite Cartel. You know how I love the Favorite Cartels. Out of a mare named Great Grace who made $200,000 and won her first start. So the dam was precocious and won early. This is a homebred. They bred their mare to their good mare to Anastasia to Favorite Cartel. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how she fares there. How she fires out of there in start number 1. All right, that'll do it for our part. Good luck tonight. 12 races starting in 27 minutes. As always, please wager early. We're fast, sunny. It's going to be a night a lot like last night. Beautiful conditions. And good luck tonight on your Saturday.